Shalom, Israel. Brother Malak back with the biblical lesson. This lesson is since the beginning, they were predestined, and that is the 2/3 of this great, peculiar nation called the Hebrew Israelites, the 12 tribes, the 12 patriarchs, the 12 sons of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Since the beginning, they were predestined or predestinated, the 2/3, the 2/3. You sit and wonder, Salak, you sit and wonder and ask yourself, why can't some of these Israelites that are bloodline descendants not get it? They just can't get it. No matter how much you explain it to them, show them, prove it to them, have other nations prove it and show them, they can't get it. That's via whomever. It could be your best friend, your family member, your spouse, Salak, your work employee, or etc., etc. Salak. No matter how much proof you give them, they just can't comprehend it. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that, Israel. You know, I have ran across a couple, pages. And these are heathen pages. Salak, these are heathen pages. And they understand and know. So how is it that they understand and know that there has been a great lie and a great identity theft, but the own people within its nation can't? That's something to think about. And you get tired of harping on certain things. People keep asking all the questions, and the questions, or should I say the answers are in the scriptures. They're in the holy text. They're in the holy scrolls. But these morons just can't comprehend. So since the beginning, these specific souls were predestinated not to get it. And it's, it don't matter how much you plead and show them, they just can't get it. Job 12:16. With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. Salak. So Job clearly states that Yahweh has deceived those that are deceived, and he also controls the deceiver. Let's read it again. Job 12:16. With him is strength and wisdom, of course. When you come to Yahweh with a sound mind, and humble yourself as a child, as Hamashiach said, that those that will enter into the kingdom has to reform themselves as children, roughly paraphrased. When you humble yourselves and drop everything that this world has told you, which is 99.9999999% lies, and then you can basically get this truth of truths. Job 12:16, with him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. That goes into Yahweh, the Ancient of Days, basically controlling everything that's on the planet. And you can get that at Psalm 17:13, where it says that, where King David says, the wicked is your sword, Yahweh. Save me from the wicked, which is your sword. So we have to realize and understand that these people, these specific souls, were not chosen. Don't get it twisted. They're chosen because they come through the great biblical, historical, renowned bloodline. But they're not the elect of the elect. And that is whom Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai, is coming to take up and to reign with him. That is who Yahweh, the Ancient of Days, has preserved for Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. And we learn that in John 17. But again, these specific souls were predestinated not to get this beautiful, amazing truth. Job 12:16, with him is strength and wisdom, and the deceived and the deceiver are his. So both parties are his. He controls both parties. So we can't cough up a lung trying to persuade. All we can do is do our part. Do with Slak, do what Yahweh told us to do. And that is be a watchman or watchwoman. Prophesy. Prophesy, 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 prophesy. Prophesy. All of my brothers of the scriptures, from Ezra, Jeremiah, Isaiah, Obadiah, Zephaniah, Zechariah, they all prophesied. And that is what we were set up to do in this time, in this age, in this era. Prophesy. No matter how long it may take. You know? No, I always hearken on that and always say that, because Noah was out there prophesying for a minute, for a long time. But the end came. But things are moving so fast now to where this thing can be, really over in the next year and a half or the next couple years, depending on Yahweh, the Ancient of Days, and how fast he wants this society to collapse, and how fast does he want this World War III to take off. 2 Esdras 9:22, let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain. Whew. How does it feel to be born in vain? And let my grape be kept and my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. You know? So these 2/3, they're still not observing the signs of the times. Thou hypocrites, as Hamashiach Yahushua says. You can discern foul weather. You can discern if a storm is about to come. You can discern if if rain is approaching. You can discern if snow is coming down. You can even discern if if a dog is about to bite you. Or you can discern if your car is about to shut out or shut off. But you ignorant souls cannot discern the signs of the times. Here you have tampon shortages, baby formula shortages, gas prices are through the roof, food prices are through the roof, World War III is on the brink. You have all this climate devastation happening all around the world. You have uproars of the people, and it's going to be even bigger uproars, way bigger riots, way bigger riots and uproars. Here you have rent prices through the roof, no pun intended. You have, you're basically watching a wicked society crumble. And these hypocrites cannot discern the signs of the times. 2 Esdras 9:22, let the multitude perish then which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept. What is that grape? That grape is the election, or should I say the elect of the elect, the 1/3. And my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. And how did he make it perfect? By giving us this wisdom, this knowledge, this understanding, by supping with us, by giving us faith. For the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Yahushua. And that is what these specific souls are out doing, prophesying any way they know how, doing the ministry work. For this is the greatest work on the face of the planet. Your best investment, definitely you being a Hebrew Israelite, if you descend from one of the royal tribes, your best investment is investing into your Abba, Yahweh, the Ancient of Days. Because once the fecal matter hits the fan, it's ball game. It's hell to tell the captain. The roosters will come home to roost. It is over, and no one cares about the fat lady. Second Esdras 9:22, let the multitude perish then which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept and my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. And this is why these folks can't get it, because they were made to be in vain. They were predestinated not to get this knowledge and understanding. This is why when you come around, your aura, your spirit, it vexes their demons. It vexes them. Salat. Your bright spirit, that Ruach Kadash that's upon you, it just gleams and beams from beneath or above you or around you. because you were destined. You were predestined to get it. Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I will also reject you, that you shall be no priest to me, seeing you have forgotten the law of your God. I will also forget your children. And that is essentially what we see today. That is what happened to our great, amazing nation. Our people went off, kept going off, following the heathen, breaking the blood covenant, kept rejecting Yahweh, the Ancient of Days, and he booted us. Not just any boot, but he, Undertaker, booted us out of the Holy Land and scattered us into all the heathen nations. And here we are to this very day. And our people still can't get right. They still don't get it. They still care about this current society, this current kingdom. Now, don't get it twisted. We have to sustain ourselves for the time being. So we do what we have to do. We do with what Yahweh has given us, our daily bread. And if Yahweh has blessed you more than your daily bread, then enjoy your blessings. But the climax plan is to get beamed up out of here. Beam me up, Scotty. The elect is looking to be beamed up out of here because this place is going to be on fire. Space Jam. Or NBA Jam for that matter. On fire. He's on fire. That is what's going to take place according to Zechariah 14:12. 2 Peter 3:10 and 2 Peter 3:12. This place is going to be on hot mode, if you will. This place is going to be blazing. And that's going to be from that nuclear fire, and that's going to be from that chariot fire. And that is what's coming. This is all prophecy. But these 2/3 were predestinated not to get it. They were predestinated to basically feel the wrath of Yahweh on this side. This is a very serious message, man. So you Israelites that are listening, I hope you really take heed and key and really, study to show yourself approved. And once Yahweh has given you the knowledge and understanding, that you apply it to your life as much as possible, and that you preach the gospel. Do the ministry work. Do the work, the greatest form of work on earth, and that is to preach to the sheep. The same thing that the 12 apostles and Hamashiach Yahushai did. That's what they did. They was about their Father's business. They were investing into Yahweh. And that is what we do. We invest into Yahweh the best way possible. Because once it all falls down, your job is not going to matter. Your position is not going to matter. Your rank is not going to matter. None of this stuff is going to matter once Yahweh brings that great destruction. It's going to all be forgotten and burnt up. And before it gets burnt up, it's going to be forgotten, because the Bible speaks of a society collapse. I mean, you're looking at it. They're talking about bringing in a new order, specifically currency. And they want to put this potato chip in you and program you and do other wicked things. So you know that's not going to slide. You know it's going to be, as the scriptures say, sedition among men. You know, it's going to be people having no regards for authority. These these wicked authorities at that. It's going to be like the book of Eli, I Am Legend, The Road, all these great classic Hollywood movies, all these apocalyptic movies that we love and enjoy. But we're going to be in it. We're going to be experiencing no food, no water. They already have shortages on tampons, shortages on breast milk, formula, shortages on food, shortages on other things and supplies. So yeah, you know, it's cool when you sitting at the movie theater or when you sitting in your couch, you know, in the living room, sitting on your couch, Salak in the living room, and you watching these apocalyptic type movies, and saying to yourself what you would have did and what I would have did and what she should have did and what he should have did, but we're going to be in it. We're going to be in that situation, because that's what the prophecies say. It's called Jacob's trouble. It's called the Great Tribulation. It's said in Daniel 12:1, a time like never seen under the earth before. And it's going to triumph all the other eras. So you mean to tell me this time that's coming is going to triumph slavery? It's going to triumph all the worst conditions that have ever been issued or emitted on the earth? What type of time is this? And who wants to be in this time? Because I sure don't. I'd rather die respectfully, peacefully, than to endure all that. 2 Thessalonians 2, but these 2/3, they were predestined not to get it. They don't get it. And these Israelites that know that they are Israelites and are not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability and are falling to their flesh, they're going to get it. 2 Thessalonians 2:10, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And what is that? That is that you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians, whose fathers go back to the 12 tribes of Israel. You are the blood covenant people, and you have a covenant to follow. This covenant has not been eradicated. It actually stands the test of time. And it's actually going to be put in our inward parts. So that's even more proof of that this covenant is not done away. It is to be upheld throughout all our generations. Wherever we may be scattered at, we should keep it to the best of our ability. 2 Thessalonians 2:11, and for this cause God, Yahweh, shall send them strong delusions, that they should believe a lie. And what is one strong delusion? Christianity. That's one. Basically all these world religions that have tricked our people. All these world religions that have tricked our people. That is that strong delusion. You know, all these false philosophies that this devil has taught our people through these school systems. One being atheist, one being a scientologist, all of that BS that these devils has taught and preached. How they have whitewashed the Bible. How they have said and lied to all the nations of the world and said that the one they called Jesus Christ was a Edomite, in which they technically right. Jesus Christ is an Edomite, but Yahweh Shai Hamashiach is not. The real Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, the real Jew, the real Judite, Revelations 5:5, the real lion of the tribe of Judah, the Hebraic Negro black man, he definitely is not an Edomite. He's definitely not an Edomite Caucasian. He's definitely not an Idumean. So yeah, they can play that game and continue to try to play that game and run that game on the whole world. But the true Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, the true, I'll go along with it, Christ, if you will, is a black man, a Negro, woolly hair, bronze skin, dark bronze skin at that, full nose, full lips, and he may have had braids. He may have had locks, who knows, but he probably more likely had a woolly fro. But, 2 Thessalonians 2:11, and for this cause God shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. And that is what these 2/3 believe. They believe these lies, these false ideologies and philosophies and doctrines. And, that's what's plaguing the world. That's what's really plaguing the world. What's really plaguing the world is that the righteous people, God's chosen people, is not in authority, and they are not in righteous rulership. That's what's really plaguing the world. That his chosen people, the Hebrew Israelites, are in the boroughs, ghettos, slums. A mass majority of them are. And you have these heathens who are basically over the chosen children, the chosen people, the peculiar people, the royal people, the real royalty. That's what people don't understand. The real royalty is the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians. They are the biblical, historical, spiritual, real royalty of the earth. But everything has been whitewashed. 2 Thessalonians 2:12. And then, like I say, some of that falls on Israel itself, because Israel went off. Our ancestors went off. Our ancestors did not keep the end of the bargain, did not keep the end of the blood covenant. So Yahweh brought the sword and he scattered us. It's all through the holy prophecies. It's all through the holy scriptures. So now, you have the heathens, the daughter of Edom, doing what the daughter of Edom does. And that's what you see right now in front of you. Just total society collapse. 2 Thessalonians 2:12, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth. And what I just spoke to you and said within this biblical lesson, that was the truth. All that stuff I just said before I read that was the truth. And that is the whole truth. That you Negroes, Latino, Native Indians are the children of God, the peculiar, special, chosen people. And that's not hard to see. You look at sports, you look at fashion, you look at music, you look at the food, you look at the creations. When you go back into slavery, and once you do your research and find out that Negroes created damn near everything we use today, still no compensation. But I digress. 2 Thessalonians 2:12, they that all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. So, those are the ones that's going to catch it. Just the 2/3. Because this word is really into you Israelites. We don't really expect the heathen nations to really get it. But you have heathens who get it and understand. And at that same token, you have Israelites who just don't understand and can't get it. How does that work? Moving right along, Israel. Moving right along. Romans 9:27. As I think that's Esaias, could be wrong, Salat, also cries concerning Israel, though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, because we're everywhere, from the southern kingdom to the northern kingdom, to your Negroes, to your Puerto Ricans, your Dominicans, your Mexicans, to your Native Indians, Native Americans. We're everywhere, man. We're like the sand of the sea. Esaias also cries concerning Israel, though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved. So only a little handful is going to be saved. You know how you got a big bag of nuts and you just take a handful? That's the perfect analogy I can give you. A remnant shall be saved. And that's what's on the horizon. But you know, these 2/3, they just can't get it. More the less they were predestined not to get it. Yahweh did not want them. We just read in previous scrolls and scriptures and prophecies that Yahweh created these spirits in vain. He basically, you have a director, and he has the main characters, and then you have all the side characters. He really doesn't care about the side characters. It's really about the main characters, which always ends up being the hero and the villain, or the villains and the heroes. And that's just how this story is going. Here you have twin brothers whose descendants and offspring has been vexing one another and warring with one another. Really, one side more than the other, because Jacob's offspring is the righteous rulers, and is the righteous offspring. Hey, now I mean you have wicked Israelites. Don't get it twisted. Just like you may have some decent Edomites. So but these if they was alive today to see that their offsprings are still in this tug of war of power and struggle. Because remember, this is how Yahweh created it to happen. Remember, Rebecca had two nations in her womb. Our big brother came out first. He came out the womb, red and hairy. Wasted away was he, looking different from everybody else. That is Esau, Edom, Idumea. And he came out. But what was the distinctive thing? The distinctive thing was that Jacob, brown, black, and smooth, woolly hair, he had his hand on the heel of Esau, which is a metaphor and a representation of, Edom will rule, but Jacob will take down that rulership and eventually rule for eternity and forever, as it was demanded from God above. But these 2/3, they just don't get it, and they can't get it. And the thing is, we see how our big brother rules. We see how Esau rules. Everybody sees how Esau rules. The Bible says that Esau is greatly despised. Nobody likes this guy. How does it feel to be the guy that nobody likes, or the girl that nobody likes? That has to be a shitty life. Excuse my Hebrew. And we learn this through the prophet Obadiah, because this man has raped, robbed, pillaged, steal, deceived, lied, and all the nations know it. And this is why they're going to blow this place up. You see, you hear? They're going to eradicate this place. The Bible says they're going to hate. They're going to hate the whore. They're going to turn on the whore, and they're going to light this place up like a Christmas tree. Proverbs 1:20. Wisdom cry without. She utters her voice in the streets. What is that wisdom? That wisdom is this word that we preach out there on the highways and hedges, or social medias, or word to mouth, or letters, or journals, magazines, however you want to play it and do it. This word that we have basically gotten, and this word that we express and prophesy, that is the wisdom. The wisdom and the knowledge is the fear of the Lord. The wisdom and knowledge is that you Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians are the 12 tribes of Israel. You are the chosen holy people of the earth. You are the righteous rulers. And you need to get back to the blood covenant, because the blood covenant it still stands. She cries in the chief place of concourse. When you see those righteous men out there crying and sighing and pleading and prophesying in the chief places of concourse, that is that wisdom. That is that truth in the midst of all the bull crap. And it's funny how Yahweh made it like that. You know, it says in the openings of the gates in the city, she utters her words, saying, specifically to you Israelites, because this word is really to you, because you are the blood covenant people. I can't keep expressing that enough, or I can't keep harping on that enough, because that's basically why we're in this condition in the first place. Because our people did not want to keep the blood covenant. They wanted to be like the heathen nations. They wanted to serve idols and committed idolatry and just break the blood covenant. And look what it has gotten us. If our ancestors could awake, if Yahweh could awake every last one of them and wake them up and show them how their offspring is doing, they'll be mourning and crying and pleading to Yahweh to take away the reproach, take away the curses that he has put on his people. Proverbs 1:22. How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? Yes, you 2/3 that just think life is about it's a lot. You 2/3. It's a lot, Israel. How long will you simple ones love simplicity? And that goes into you 2/3 of Israel that just think life is about partying, clubbing, having sex with the prettiest women on earth, stacking and saving the most money on earth, wearing the nicest and beautiful garments. Same thing with you women who just think life is about pleasure, taking trips and vacations, shaking your behind in the clubs, being whorish and showing your breasts and body all on social media, and getting your hair and weaves done, and just pleasures. How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? Now, don't get it twisted. Pleasure is amazing, but everything has its time and course. And right now, we're not in the times of really to just be 100% just pleasure every day. You know, honestly, just look at the state of everything. Look at the earth. The earth is crying. The earth is sighing. Look at the people. Look at the things that's taking place. I mean, I understand you have in a capitalist society poverty, the poor, the middle class, the upper middle class, and the rich and the super rich. But, you know, everything is happening. There's a lot going on, and it's affecting everybody, because that is the judgments and prophecies that's taking place. Proverbs 1:22. How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge? Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called, and you refuse. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regardeth. But you have all set at naught at my counsel, and would none of my reproof. What is his counsel? What is his reproof? Those prophets that's out there prophesying. Before the great destruction comes to a land, Yahweh sends his prophets to prophesy, to get you spiritually woke and ready. Every era under the sun. When you read the history, when you go back and look up your history, when you read the scrolls, when you read the Bible, you will realize that before he brings the great destruction unto a wicked kingdom, unto a wicked nation, he sends forth his prophets along with the great prophecies. And that is what you see here before you today. Proverbs 1:25. But you have set at naught at my counsel, and with none of my reproof. Peep this out, Israel, and you heathens who are listening and watching. Proverbs 1:26. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear come. Whew. God loves everybody. God is loving. God is a teddy bear. God is amazing. God is chocolates and candy bits. God is roses and candies. Did you hear what the Lord said he's going to do? Proverbs 1:26. I also will laugh at your calamity. Calamity is nothing to laugh about. Calamity is not a laughing matter. When you're in pain and anguish and suffering and hurting and crying, the last thing you want to hear is laughing or someone laughing at you. Proverbs 1:26. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear comes. Because you hard-headed Israelites just can't get right. You want to smoke. You want to get drunk. You want to commit fornication. You want to commit adultery. You want to be like the world. You want to celebrate the things of the world. You don't want to keep the blood covenant. You don't want to basically honor the creator, the one that created this whole experience. That is what people must realize. How can you tell the creator how to live when he created you? That is what is flabbergasting to me. And that is what you see with these heathens. How they just rule with no type of discipline, spiritual, biblical discipline. Now, you got your Bible Belt Christians, those Southern Christians and Jesus Christ and that and that. But even to that, they have the zeal, but they don't have the correct knowledge. And the correct knowledge is, there's no white Jesus coming. His name is Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, a Negro, a black man. And he's coming with thousands and thousands of angels. And he's coming with the elect. And they're going to destroy all the wicked kingdoms. And he's going to destroy all the wicked kingdoms who have downtrodden his people. Now, that is the truth of truths. Proverbs 1:27. When your fear comes as desolation and your destruction comes as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you, then shall they call upon me. People tend to do that, man, when they hurting or when they about to die or when they in the midst of a famine or when they're dehydrated, can't find nothing to drink, or they something real breathtaking is on the horizon, or soul quenching is on the horizon. Then people like to call upon a higher power. Then people like to call upon God. Really, they like to call upon Yahweh. You Israelites and you heathens. Everybody likes to call upon Yahweh then. It says, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For they that hated knowledge, what is the knowledge again? The knowledge is that you Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians are the 12 tribes of Israel. You have a blood covenant that you must keep to the best of your ability, and you must keep the faith in Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, and you must endure whatever tribulation Yahweh is going to put on the world. You must endure and keep the faith. And for you heathen nations, it is for you to get in line and understand to basically get in line and to understand who is the real righteous powers at hand. That's the basically the Salak have a brain fog. Yeah, but yeah, you heathens, it is for you to get in line, man. That's basically what it is. It is for you heathen nations to get in line and to accept the truth that the righteous people are the Israelites, the Negroes, Latino, Native Indians, 12 tribes. It is for you to get in line and understand that, and to tell your families, your friends, your people the truth, and to bless the Israelites, and to help the Israelites any way possible. And if you will, keep the Torah, our Torah, keep our commandments to the best of your ability if you want, because they're, you heathens, it's a small percentage, a remnant that will be salvaged to build up the kingdom, to be servants, slaves in the kingdom. So, there's no getting around that. You heathens were created to serve the Israelites. The Israelites were created to serve Yahweh. That is the true biblical knowledge and wisdom and instruction. That's just the truth of truth. People hate it. People despise it. But that's just the truth. You heathen nations were created to serve the Israelites. The Israelites were created to serve Yahweh. Why? Yahweh Shai. That is the righteous order. That is the wisdom. That is the knowledge. Proverbs 129, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. They would none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. And this is specifically talking to the 2/3 of Israel. And the more accurately, the Israelites then, that was not, taking heed. Proverbs 131, therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. For the turning of way of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. And that is what you see on the horizon in this time, in this day, in this period. History repeats itself. But the next big slave trade won't be the Negroes, and it won't be the Latinos, and it won't be the Native Indians. It will be the heathen nations. More specifically, Esau, Edom, Amalek. And let's get that for biblical proof. Even though I'm kind of jumping everywhere, kind of digressing, but the spirit is the spirit. It's breaking out the truth. And this is what you see on the horizon right now. It says limitations. We know what limitations mean. That means woe, destruction. Lamentations 4:21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through into you. You shall be drunken and shall make yourself naked. The punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more. Who is he? Who is this he? Who is this he? The punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry you away into captivity. That he is Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, God, who you stupid people seem not to know and realize. He, Yahweh, will visit thy iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover your sins. And y'all have a lot of sins. A lot of sins to pay for. A lot. But I digress. You 2/3, you're going to feel that wrath as well, man. Because you're not hearkening to the Lord. You're not understanding what we're prophesying. This is the truth of truths. These scriptures fit together like pieces in puzzles, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. That is how you know what we're preaching and teaching is the truth. And then it just connects. Boom. And then it just makes sense. Boom. And then you match it up with historical documents, secular history. Boom, boom, boom. It connects. It all connects. This is the truth of truths. And Esau knows they're Esau. They know they're Edom. They know they're Idumea. That is why they have that perpetual hatred. And it's really not even hatred. Well, it's hatred because that's what envy basically turns into. It's really envy. And what does envy turn into? It turns into hatred. And really, it's just not Esau and Edom. You know, I feel like we always banging on Edom, but it's the rest of the nations as well. Ishmael, Ham, Japheth, all his offspring, Elam, Moab, Ammon. You know, let's get it. You know, because that's coming for everybody. I know. Lamentation specifically speaks of Esau, but this is coming for all the nations that have taken crafty counsel against his chosen people. All these high, rich elitists, these rich elite heathen. That's what they are. They're heathen. They're Gentiles. They're just rich heathen. No matter how rich and mighty they seem, you know, even though, you know, they're in a noble state right now, but they're heathen. They're biblical, historical, spiritual heathen. The real royalty is the Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians. There's no getting around it. It's historically documented. It's spiritually documented. It's biblically documented. It's secularly documented. When you go into all the ancient kingdoms and nations, they're black people. And black and brown people. Aztecs, the Mayans, the Incas, the Israelites, you know, the Moors, Israelites. You know, the Israelites were over here too. Remember, Christopher Columbus brung 2 Hebrew interpreters. So look at that. And then, you know, Egypt, they were a black people, a black nation. They were Hamites. They weren't Negroes, even though technically you can say they were Negroes because who built Egypt? The Negroes built Egypt. The Israelites, the Latinos, the Native Indians, the Negroes, we built Egypt. We built those pyramids. We were the slaves in Egypt. We built Egypt. Just like we built America, just like we built every other great civilization. Who were the real Spartans? Coming to find out, the real Spartans. When you go into the book of Maccabees, you know, you'll find out that it says that the Lacedaemonians and Abraham are brethren. How is that? But here you have it. They whitewash the Spartans in a minute and turn them into Edomite Romans. But when you do your history, your research, you'll find out that the real deal, the real Holyfield, the real Spartans were Negroes, Latinos. Ain't that something? Now, that's a hard pill to swallow for people. That was even a hard pill to swallow for me because I have been taught in what's the word I'm looking for? Indoctrinated to think that the Spartans were Edomites, Caucasians, and they weren't. They weren't, man. They were Latinos, Native Americans, Negroes. Some people say they were the tribe of Dan. We know the tribe of Dan was a tribe that went missing, or that was, I think, shunned. But it's crazy, man. The deeper you go, the darker it gets. But I digress. I digress. But hey, man, you 2/3, man. You need to get it together before it's too late, man. Because it's not gonna be as my stepdad used to say, or my pops rather. It's not gonna be pretty. Not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be pretty, man. It says Psalms 83, 1-7. It says, "Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not your peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate you have lifted up the head." So these nations, they hate Yahweh. They hate that he chose us. That envy. Psalms 83, 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. Who is his people? We harp on this all the time. We say this all the time. The Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians, the 12 tribes, the 12 royal people that goes back to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the offspring that is scattered unto this day. Psalms 83. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Jacob, Israel, may be no more in remembrance." You prideful bastards. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against you. So who are these nations that hate you, Yahweh? Who are these nations that chose to hide your people? Psalms 83, 6. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarians, Jebel, Ammon, Amalek, the Philistines, the inhabitants of Tyre, Ashur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Salah. So you nations think that there's not going to be a great judgment for that? Y'all really thinking in your hearts of hearts that there's no big judgment, no recompense coming for that? Silly, silly, silly you. And that is what you see on the horizon, man. You see the wicked basically falling. You see the righteous basically coming into remembrance. You see the tale of two tapes. You see Jacob coming back into righteous power. You see Esau and the nations going back into their original positions. And then you see Yahweh bringing forth his prophecies all around the whole world, all around the whole globe. You see these angels showing themselves forth. You see these chariots. You see these UFO sightings. You see these UAPs. You see these spiritual phenomenons and things that you mortals can't explain happening before you. Because it is the same time that Yahweh will begin to visit the earth that he made. And with that, I want to say, Kol Halayim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. All glory to Yahweh, the Ancient of Days.